welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with naked truths and well-dressed lies. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a TV presenter and host of Crufts. Yes, she's the face of competitive dogging. It's Clare Balding. And an actor who once starred alongside David Hasselhoff. I know what you're thinking. Pamela Anderson's let herself go. From People Just Do Nothing, it's Asim Chaudhry. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, a Radio 1 DJ who used to host the afternoon drive time slot, or as his young listeners would call it, the breakfast show. It's Greg James. And a columnist, presenter and professional poker player who took the biggest gamble of her life when she married David Mitchell. It's Victoria Coren Mitchell. We begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Greg, you're first up tonight.
OK. To help me relax, there's nothing I like more than spending up to 4 hours...
Where's this going?
To help me relax, there's nothing I like more than spending up to 4 hours in what I like to call one of my special baths.
Oh, God. I rest my case.
Please, team.
OK. What is this special bath?
A special bath is when the lights are down low,
Yeah?
a candle is lit,
Yeah?
there's bubbles or salts, either. I have been known sometimes to watch Will I Lie to You in the bath.
In the
Watch
bath?
us in the bath.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Can you see us in the bath?
No, he
On the
doesn't
iPad.
watch us in the bath.
Yeah.
He watches us in the bath.
I didn't know anyone knew we bathed together.
So, I mean, it's slightly annoying that I'm not watching this one in the bath now, because I'm sort of used to sitting with you all in the tub.
But you might in future watch this in the bath.
At some point.
So at the moment we're being watched by you.
It's like a particularly dull instalment of Back to the Future.
It's funny, you say that, Rob, but for me, this is the most erotic conversation I've ever witnessed.
Yeah, but you are married to David. So the special bath involves candles, low light, iPad. Anything else?
I'll just sit there and I sort of sometimes have a glass of wine. You can float it in the water if you have I've perfected that.
Are we still talking about the wine?
Yes. Yes.
How do you float a glass of wine in the bath?
Well, you just balance
What are you
it.
resting it on?
It's simple physics. If you have the right amount of wine in it, it sits upright.
The stem must work as a sort of keel.
It does. It works. Yeah. You've done this before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and then also I enjoy having cheese in there with me as well. Cheese.
Cheese? What's that floating on?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked, because sometimes I have been known to fashion what I call a foil barge. Where the cheese sort of floats around, or sort of orbits me as I'm sat there with some crackers, maybe on the soap stand.
You're a very tall man.
Yes.
So do you have a very, very long bath?
No, I just sort of sit.
Yeah, 4 hours.
What are you thinking?
4 hours is extreme, but I've been known to spend 2 hours.
I don't know.
I think 4 hours is too long.
Yeah, I think, yeah,
Too
4
long.
hours too long. I'd say lie.
It's a lie.
So it's a lie. OK, so Greg, truth or lie?
That is a truth.
Asim, you're up next.
Okay. To make sure I went down as an all-time school legend, I deliberately scored a spectacular own goal in our end of term cup final.
David's team.
Okay. You just wanted to make a name for yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to, you know, be memorable, you know?
Okay.
No one really remembers the kind of average guy, but they remember that kind of You know, the wacky guy scored an own goal.
The idiot.
And yeah, the idiot. Yeah.
So what was the reaction to you? What was that? What was
Well, first, it's like, you know, my team were like, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. But, you know, afterwards, they were like, that was legendary, mate, you know?
How long after? Sort of
Like
5 years after?
Around 5, 10 years later. But the thing is, though, the reason why it was so spectacular is it wasn't just a normal own goal. I didn't just, you know, it was a kind of a scissor kick. Yeah. Now, you're looking at me and going, this isn't the physique of a football player.
That's absolutely right.
If you see me on, like, Soccer AM or some other shows, you'll see that I've got techers, mate. You know what they say? You know, you either, was it die a hero or live long enough to become a villain? So I was like...
Who says that?
Is that... I think I got the quote wrong. Is that the quote?
Not quite.
You know what I mean.
Let me ask you a question. What were you known for at school before that incident?
I was...
Misquoting people.
I was complete, like, school clown. I actually got an award for bunking in school. I was never there. They gave me the early bird award. 'Cause I used to turn up in the morning, sign in, and then go out. I did stuff like that. I was
The
zany.
teachers gave you a prize?
Yeah, at the end of, like, year 11.
Had they fully understood their role?
Looking back, I don't think they did, because I was really proud of that award.
So, well, it's, in a sense, the school is at fault if this is true, because they've established an educational environment where doing what is ostensibly the opposite of the aim of any exercise is to be rewarded.
Yeah.
So you said, no, I'm not going to do the obvious thing and score in the opponent's goal. And how many serial killers went to your school?
I quite enjoyed the vision there of Parents' Night. First Parents' Night for you two, I think that school is going to be trembling.
Yeah.
Well, you say that. If you look at that lineup there, doesn't it look as if they're just dropping their Greg off at university? Victoria. He's not your biological son. You are David's far more beautiful, younger second wife. And you don't get on with Greg, that's coming across. So what are you going to say?
Oh, Greg, you must know more about football than we do.
I think it's true. I think he's a big enough clown to have done that.
What do you think?
I think if Greg thinks it's true, let's say true.
I think it's true.
Okay. She's trying to bond with her stepson.
Asim, was it true or were you telling a lie?
It was a lie.
Claire, you're next.
I have a possession.
All right, now then, well, let's please bring on the possession.
Oh, yes.
This is Dexter, and when I judged a Dogs Who Look Like Celebrities competition, he was the winner. Hello, Dexter.
OK.
OK.
It's so very nice to see you. Again. Yes.
Go on, what's the celebrity?
Dennis Healy. So you need to have a proper look at Dexter's face, and specifically his eyebrows. There we go, Dexter.
Can I
have a
come
little
and
look.
see?
Yeah, come and see Dexter.
Someone might have to tell Greg who Dennis Ely is.
That was my next question.
Dennis Healy was the Chancellor of the Exchequer under a Labour government in the
Hello.
1970s.
And he was known for big eyebrows.
He had huge eyebrows, that's the big
I think
thing.
you ought to get...
I've
And he used to walk
literally
round on all
never
fours.
seen a dog that looked more like Dennis Healy, I'm sorry.
Let's have a look.
uncanny.
Hey, Dexter? Oh, yes. What a silly Billy.
Name quickly, three other breeds of dog and the celebrities they resembled.
You will do it in your own time, thank you very much.
A blonde Afghan hound that looked like Tess Daly. There's a Staffordshire Bull Terrier that looked like Vladimir Putin. A Portuguese water dog that looked like Cher. And obviously Dexter.
So were you the sole judge?
I was. This is a big dog event that I go to called Dog Fest.
What is the event?
Dog Fest. Have you
Dog
not been?
Fest.
Yeah, and people bring their dogs, and there are lots of activities. They've even got a diving pool for dogs. And my job is to judge the dog who looks like a celebrity competition.
Is Dennis a good swimmer?
Dexter.
Yeah, but, you know, Dennis.
It may be that Dexter is unaware that he's impersonating Dennis Healy. He may not have immersed himself in the role to the extent that he's been going, Dennis is swimming now. He's worried about interest rates.
Okay.
So the dog looks uncannily like Dennis Healy.
The dog is astonishingly like Dennis Healy.
When you're told that dog looks like Dennis Healy, I agree, looks like Dennis Healy. Would you have walked down the street and said to David, did you see that dog? Oh, he was a spit of Dennis Healy.
Or even, I think that was Dennis Healy.
This is where I'm up to. That dog, 1, is definitely called Dexter. 2, definitely looks more like Dennis Healy than the waxwork that wouldn't be in Madame Tussauds because who'd go to see it? The question is whether Claire knows him.
Yeah. Well, strictly speaking, this is supposed to be a possession.
Yes.
But I assume, the round discipline's gone because I don't think Claire is even asserting that she owns Dexter.
So in a way, it's not her possession, is it?
No, exactly. So for me, the programme's rather spoiled. What do you think?
Well, I do trust Claire Balding. I think it's actually true.
But I don't trust Claire Balding. I'm going to stick my neck out. I think, well done, whoever found that Healy-like dog.
Well, remember, Healy was, if it's not true, Healy was of Claire's invention just now after just looking at the dog. There's no Dennis Healy mentioned on the card, is there?
Was Healy on the card?
You're good at this.
No.
It must be true. It must be true.
So you think true?
Oh, I'm really confused
And
now.
do you both think true?
We do, but I think we're
True.
confused.
True.
And I feel like we're angering you, so...
No.
I've upset Dad again!
I've been very, very angry for very many years.
Don't look at your wife when you say that,
Let's say true.
You think true?
True.
True?
True?
We're going to say true.
All right, they're saying true. Claire, was it... Don't scratch, Dexter. Was it true?
No, he's going to have a lick now. He's been watching Lee.
Right, Claire, were you telling the truth, or was it a lie?
It was true.
It's true. Claire did award Dexter first prize in a celebrity look-alike contest, and we have a picture. Look at this. Dennis is on the left. Thank you very much, Dexter.
Well done. Thank you so much. Well done, never seen it.
Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. And it's up to Lee's team to spot who is telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Stuart. So, Victoria, what is Stuart to you?
This is Stuart. He once laughed so much at something I said on Only Connect, he passed out.
Right, so Victoria's fainting fan. Greg, how do you know Stuart?
This is Stuart, and when I opened his butcher's shop, he paid me in sausages.
Greg's butcher buddy. And finally, David, what is your relationship with Stuart?
This is Stuart. He's the lollipop man. He's the lollipop man whose lollipop I held when he was suddenly called away on non-lollipop-related business.
So, there we have it. Lee's team, where do you want to begin?
Right. I've seen Only Connect. First question, what was the team called?
No, he wasn't on the show.
Oh, he's in the audience.
A viewer at home.
Oh, he's a viewer at home.
Well, you'll know, Lee, because you've seen the show, one of my hilarious jokes. He actually passed out at home from laughing.
Right. Do you want to have a little bit of time, or do you want to tell us that hilarious joke? But before you do, I must warn you watching at home, you might want to turn the volume down. What Victoria is about to say could kill you.
It wasn't really a joke, it was a story. So one of the clues, a picture clue, and it was Schnorbits.
Bernie Winter's dog.
Yeah, the dog, exactly.
Very well done. Obviously, you'd have to identify all four to get the points, but... And I told a story as background to the question about the time that Schnorbits fell into Terry Scott's swimming pool and had to be rescued by Barbara Windsor. Control yourself, Stuart.
That story resulted in somebody laughing so much, well, my God, it's the way you tell them.
I think what really got Stuart might have been my subsequent quip. That's a party I'd like to have been at.
No, even with that, I'm...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a nice, witty comment. I could crack a smile at home. I might even, if I was watching it, I'd go...
It's not necessarily a joke. I think it was just... It's a funny story.
Is it not true that the average Only Connect audience member may be, you know, a little bit elderly and people are just regularly passing out anyway?
It's a practical question. If this happened in his house, how do you know about it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
His family wrote to me and said that he was hospitalised laughing at something I'd
They
said.
weren't after money, were they?
No, they said, you know, they thought I'd like to know about it because maybe I would send him a get well soon card, which I did.
All right. Who would you like to quiz next?
OK, so, Greg, what's the name of the butchers?
Sampson's.
Samson's?
Sampson's...
But
Yeah.
he's risking it a bit, having his hair cut like that, isn't he?
It's Stuart Sampson, so it's
Yeah.
his butchers.
Samson's Butchers.
Because I grew up in Bromley. It was our local family butcher. And then...
He used to butcher families. But only if they live locally.
Yeah.
I'm the local family butcher. Do you live local and have you got a family?
Yeah, he's the family butcher, and then when I left and then I got onto Radio 1, Mum and Dad still know Stuart, so he said, would Greg want to come down, maybe bring Radio 1 down, bit of press coverage.
OK.
So,
Do you like sausages?
love sausages.
Oh, great.
Who
So
doesn't
this
love
is like the
sausages?
perfect way of paying you, because you don't have to pay tax on it. You don't have to declare it. Did you
I
declare
don't need to
it?
get into that. Why are you...
But this is
We're all getting paid in sausages. So.
How far ahead of this gig did you know that was... Presumably, you were just doing it as a favour to an old family friend.
Well, we did it as a wacky bit on the radio.
Oh, it was
So-
included on the radio show.
So we went to his shop and we were broadcasting live from the butcher's.
OK.
And so we sort of cut the ribbon, but it was a string of sausages.
Right.
So that was the...
And what, did
nice.
you do a speech?
Well, I said, here we go, welcome to... welcome...
Did you write that yourself?
Yeah. It got better.
Oh, right. There's only one way to go, though, to be fair.
Now, what about David?
David.
Lollipop man,
So
standing.
you held his lollipop stick so he could go and do non-lollipop duties.
Yes.
So, first of all, what were the non-lollipop duties?
He had to hurry home because a sofa was being delivered.
Presumably, then, he didn't actually return, so it wasn't
No,
a...
he didn't return.
So it wasn't a short stand-in, you were
You were the lollipop man.
I was for I mean, I would say between 9 and 11 minutes.
Wow. Let's just say, like normal people, for about 10 minutes. Did he give you the uniform?
He gave me his hat and a sort of flory jacket thing.
Tabard thing.
Yeah, and the all-important rod of power.
How many children do you think you helped cross the road?
Say maybe 30.
OK, so between 29 and 31. And did you...
Yeah.
Did you have any banter with the kids?
No.
Did you just do your usual of, hurry up?
No, I think I probably, you know, I went, oh, right, yes, this way.
This way?
This way.
I think they know the way.
Can I ask a question about emotion?
Well, he won't know the answer.
How did you feel when you were the lollipop man?
Holding the rod of power.
I felt a bit stressed, but it went fine. Only a couple of minor injuries.
Tell us about how it began. Now, were you there dropping off your own child at the school, or did you just happen to be on one of your long runs in the morning? I mean, what were you doing there?
I was dropping off...
I think what Rob's asking is, what were you doing within 200 yards of a playground? Given the, you know, given
Lee,
the court
most
order.
people are allowed.
Right.
Wait, hold on a minute. Did David tell you about this story about the lollipop guy?
OK, well, first of all, this isn't true, because Stuart is a person that laughed at one of my jokes.
Yes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm completely... Yeah,
And
This is
slightly
new
odd
territory on
place.
the show now.
Yes, I'm in a slightly odd place philosophically. Let me say, I'll use the conditional tense. Were this to be true, which it isn't, David certainly would have come home a bit flustered and told me what occurred.
David, you've obviously heard Victoria telling you about Stuart fainting. You've heard about that? And you...
Well, no, because it's not true.
All right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is Stuart Victoria's fainting fan, Greg's butcher buddy, or David's lollipop lender?
I think it's Victoria.
Why?
I just know, I just had an... Because first I thought,
Yeah, but
OK,
she told us the joke.
No, I know,
I'd like to say, all right, it was quite amusing, but it wasn't even that.
but the punchline was, oh, I would have loved to have been at that party. That was the punchline. Was that the punchline, or...?
You haven't seen my show, have you?
No.
I don't watch it, it's too risky.
Yeah.
Victoria, how did you feel when you heard the news?
About the injury?
No, about your husband being a lollipop man.
I would say it was a mixture of concerned and delighted.
All right.
To have told a story that was so funny someone was hospitalised. Maybe you'll find out one day.
All right, who is telling the truth?
I think it's Victoria, personally.
I'm just going to put it out there. It's Greg, and I know you two don't agree with me.
You think Victoria, you think Greg?
Go on, Captain, you decide.
Yeah, you go.
It's me or him. You decide.
It is literally 50-50.
Can I just say it might be me as well?
We are going to go with Victoria.
Stuart, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Stuart, and laughed that hard at Victoria's very funny story.
Yes, Stuart is Victoria's fainting fan. Thank you very much, Stuart. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lies, and we start with... It's David.
Victoria doesn't know this. But on those very rare occasions that she does something I find irritating, I get my own back by sneaking upstairs and moving her bookmarks.
When you say Victoria doesn't know this, surely when she goes to the book to read the book and she goes where the bookmark is, there must be lots of instances where she's thinking, am I losing my mind? I'm not following this book. Or...
Yes, that's exactly what she thinks.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Victoria, when you're reading a book, do you ever sometimes have that feeling of being lost? Do you ever have
I
a
have
feeling...
sometimes opened a book and thought I didn't think that's where I was.
How many books are you reading at the same time?
I mean, 7 or 8.
David, how many books does Victoria read at the same time?
Oh, I'd put it between 6 and 9.
And do they tend to be fiction, non-fiction?
Yes, those are the main two.
I'll
And what are the things you said, sometimes rare occasions, Victoria does something that...
I don't want to go into that.
No, I mean, far away.
No, I don't want to go into
What
that.
sort of things are we talking about?
No, just behavioural things. Just the simplest things to do with things she said or done. That's all
Maybe
it
when
is.
I ask you what the weather's going to be like, and I go, what do you think it's going to be? And you go, I don't think anything. I've looked at the weather forecast, and what it says is this.
Little things like, yes. Essentially, she holds me responsible for the weather forecast, as if I've made it.
No, she
when I've
doesn't.
just
She
read
says,
it
what
out.
do you think the weather's going to do? Perfectly reasonable.
It's not perfectly reasonable.
What?
She's got access to the weather forecast on her own phone. It's just, these are meteorologists. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they get it wrong. I'm just reading it out.
They are physically sitting further apart. Have you noticed?
Is there anything, Victoria, that you might do to David if he'd annoyed you? What would your retaliation be if, indeed, he is moving...
Well, he might find out.
Incidentally, I've been feeling weaker and weaker over there.
OK, what are you going to say?
I believe in their relationship. I must be just the most naive person here because I
I'm
want
invested
to...
in it.
I am. I'm emotionally invested in their relationship, and I do think David's a nice guy, and I don't think he would do that because that really would upset her.
So what we're saying is, if it's true, it's a really unpleasant thing
Yes.
and a really bad indictment on their marriage.
Yes.
Well, this has taken a nasty turn, hasn't it?
What's it going to be?
I don't want it to be true, but...
Oh, I do.
You think it's...
I want his life to fall apart. This would be such fun.
I think it's true. I don't want it to be true. I'm trying to, see the real person. I think he's a nice guy.
No, the David I know, I don't think this is unpleasant enough.
Well, you know him way more
Yeah, but
than we
also,
know.
David doesn't like you. He will not. So it's a different relationship.
That's true, yeah. But he doesn't hate me, right?
No. Even though, Lee, you on television have said you want my marriage to fall apart, I still find you an adequate colleague.
Can I ask you a question, David?
Yeah.
Are you still writing for Clinton cards?
It's time to decide. What are you going to say?
I'm going to say true, but I don't want it to be true.
It can't.
Yeah, sorry.
No. It's a lie.
It's got to be a lie, because it's an awful, awful thing to do.
It is.
You're saying it's a lie.
I really
Because
hope it's a
nobody
lie.
would do that.
If this is the truth, it's awful.
It really is. They're saying it's a lie. David, is it true or is it a lie?
It is a lie.
That noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal that Lee's team have won by 3 points to 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.
From quails to quokkas, enter the Q Animal Kingdom with Sandy Toksvig and QI's Quirky Creatures on BBC Two now. While from BBC Three on iPlayer, meet Connor and his best pal Jock, the young offenders of County Cork, streaming now.